Hello, welcome, and happy Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's your host here, Steve Gosney. I'm having a good week, I will say. I've got a couple trials coming up, which excites me. I'm very much the trial guy, as you well know. And we've got a kind of a treat. I'm going to kind of get back to some substance. I know you guys are sick of hearing about Gosney personal updates and all this stuff. So I thought I'd bring in something really, really cool. Really cool. And, I try to share with you the things that happen in kind of my life, the things that are happening in my life. And we brought in, when I was doing criminal law, we had a whole slew of experts involving criminal stuff, like DNA expert Tiffany Roy. That was my son by there. And we had the Innocence Project and bite mark evidence, Chris Fabricant. We had all kinds of good guys, like about false confessions. You remember Dr. DeClue. And so I'm always trying to share with you sort of the best and find out, because I'm blessed to be in a position where I get to meet these really neat and interesting people and get involved in really neat and interesting subjects. And so when I come across them, I think it's kind of my duty as your guiding light here to bring them to your attention. And today, now I'll be in Arizona speaking at a conference out there called Technology on the road and in the courtroom. Now, I will be doing the courtroom portion, but the on the road portion would be done by a fellow named Ed Anglin. And Ed Anglin is a principal in a company called Kodiak AI. And let's just to give you a little flavor, we're going to do a little 1-minute sneak peek video of Kodiak AI and what they are and what they're about, and then we'll bring on Ed. Okay, so check this out. Okay, let me see. I'm going to share screen here. All right, ready? Tell me if you can see this, guys. All right, there we go. Now watch this. I think we can get some audio too, maybe.
In early 2024, we completed our first driverless delivery in the Permian Basin, a journey that began in 2018 with the vision of revolutionizing ground transportation with autonomous technology. Today, Atlas operates Kodiak driver-equipped robo-trucks, delivering sand daily. Once integrated with the Dune Express, this fleet is designed to create a fully automated supply chain that connects production to delivery with unmatched efficiency. Each RoboTruck deployed drives our growth, delivering value for our partners while generating revenue. From vision to reality, the future of transportation is here. Kodiak, delivering today.
Wow. So how cool is that? So with that in mind, I want you to introduce you to Ed Anglin.
There's Ed. Great to be here. Thanks for the
invite. Say hello. There he goes. Sure, it's great to have you here. And we got Shane Souza and Catherine Kay. How you doing? Whiskey 77, and he's a truck driver. I told you I have some fans who are truck drivers, and I've got Slidey Pie. Hi. And a lot of my fans are truck drivers because, first of all, they're the salts of the earth that make the world run, and number two is they're level-headed folks. And also I work for a law firm that does a lot of trucking defense. So we represent a lot of trucking companies across the United States. So let's go ahead and introduce yourself. Ed Anglin here.
Ed Anglin. I am the head of legal commercialization and compliance at Kodiak Robotics. Prior to coming to Kodiak about a year and a half ago, I was associate general counsel at a conglomerate called Dasky Inc. They had about 11 different specialized transportation companies, basically doing a lot of flat deck and special trailer operations in that. And prior to that, I was the general counsel of USA Truck, and I led them with our CEO and CFO through the sale to DB Schenker in 2022.
All right, and now you're with Kodiak, and we're going to get into that. Let's say hello to a few more shower uppers here. Here's Whiskey. That's one of my truck driver folks. And there's Slidey Pie. Here's Anime Rum Pearl. Hey, everyone. And Trish Norman. Hey, Trish. Good to see you. You made it. And Freedom Ring, a fellow Florida lawyer. Let's just stop there. And there's Catherine again. She says, welcome. Yes. So good to see you all. And of course, we also have the replay crew, and we want to thank the replay crew because they don't get enough credit. I thank them for showing up. Wonderful. So first thing, I got a question for you. And this is the cool thing, because Kodiak AI is one of the cutting edge technology companies. And we talked about this because you were referred to me by the partner of our firm. And when we were talking about it, like, oh, that's pretty cool. But then the thing that kind of blew my mind, and maybe this is not that spectacular, but you tell me, is the fact that what you're doing is actually retrofitting existing vehicles. So talk about that and about who your customers are.
That's right. So what we're doing is our technology and our compute stack and all the sensors can go on any platform that we like. And we focus on over-the-road transportation and commercial 8 trucks. But you give us a truck, we can put our computer, we can put the all of the technology, we can put the autonomous brakes and the autonomous steering wheel on any truck that we deem is correct. We've tested on various models and OEMs. Right now, we're working with Kenworths and Peterbilts, so basically PACCAR vehicles. They've been a good partner with us since the beginning, but we're continuing to evaluate and continue to put our technology on any platform that comes to us.
And you could put it on like an F-150 or a Humvee or something like that, right?
That's right. So we also another part of our business is defense work. So we've put the technology on a Ford F-150, and we've had a 2-year contract with the Army to develop autonomous vehicles going into war and going off-road. So now, that's one of the things that was able to lead us to where we're going. We were on the road, and then we were doing off-road operations, and then we basically combined the two and where we're going right now with our industrial operations, working with Atlas Sand.
Now, and I want to get to that. The other really thing that blows my mind that actually has a good military aspect is that each vehicle is autonomous. So if you, for instance, it's not a lead chain. So if somebody comes in and zaps a middle vehicle or the front vehicle, the other trucks still keep going. Can you talk about that aspect of your technology?
That's exactly right. So we don't use a convoy operation. So it doesn't have a lead vehicle and everyone just follows the lead. Because if you take out the lead vehicle, in that type of technology, if you take out the lead vehicle, then everything else just sits dormant. It can't move. So each vehicle has all of the autonomy capabilities as the lead as well as the back and anything in between. So to your point, if something takes out the lead vehicle or a middle vehicle, they can continue. The vehicles that are operational can continue going to where they're supposed to go, and the other vehicles that, now that there's something in their way, they can then figure out with help and guidance, they can figure out a different route to the target location.
Okay, and I've got a few more guests here. Let's see who else would come up here. Oh, and one of them is Vice Baby. And I'll tell you, Vice Baby, you don't know. You see, Ed's new to the whole internet thing. I'm really pleased and proud and humbled that you're in my chat, Vice Baby. His father recently passed away and was a big YouTuber and one of my biggest supporters. I got to say, I'm honored. His name was Jeff Harrison of Legal Vices. And he was a great supporter of mine, and I really miss him. And his son is now kind of taken up the mantle, and it's good to see you. And then we've got Mufuk. I don't know what that is. And then Lily. Good to see you, Lily, as usual. So nice to see you all. And Lord of the Ree. I did watch your video, by the way, Lord of the Ree. I couldn't identify the music, though. Sorry. And oh, see, Vice. See, we're in a friendly, this is in the happy zone. There's other channels that are nasty and angry, but we have a nice, happy chat.
Well, thanks for being nice to me. Appreciate it.
And we got Mutsi. Good to see you. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat, because Ed's here with us for at least a few minutes, and we can try him for as much secret inside information as we can get, right? Okay, we'll see. All right, so then now the next thing. So we talked about you can retrofit existing vehicles and existing trucks, and each one is independent. So if one gets hit, the other ones keep going.
That's right.
Now, this is not theoretical. tell us about the project that we saw there in the video. That is real life, and tell them about what is actually happening out in West Texas.
That's right. So we started off doing commercial over the road operations. So we've done close to 3 million miles over the road on regular over the road trucks hauling freight for the likes of Werner, IKEA, JB Hunt, that kind of thing. But like I alluded to earlier, when we started doing the F-150 operations for the Army, we started getting the capabilities of running off road and being able to identify locations and road bases and stuff like that, to be able to basically have a truck or any kind of vehicle find something that isn't going to get stuck while it's running. So we started to combine the two, and a company called Atlas Energy Solutions reached out to us and was very interested in a lot of the capabilities of bringing the trucks out to West Texas, where it's really, really hard to keep truck drivers for very long. I mean, it's a hard job. You're away from your family for a long time, and we want to try to help part of that solution. So what we're doing is we're putting autonomous trucks, and they're hauling frac sand from depots to the well sites on a 24/7 operation.
And that's ongoing right now.
Yeah, it's ongoing right now. Yes.
Right. And how many trucks are working that? Do you know?
We've delivered 2 trucks to Atlas Energy Solutions at this time.
Now, the components of it, if you saw the video and if you look at the teaser kind of frame that I took, the thing that's distinctive about Kodiak is it's basically mirrors. So the ears of the truck.
Hey,
there are other parts, right? You have other sensors elsewhere on the truck.
That's right. So I like to think that the screen or the front shot of the truck looks like me back from high school, and my ears are stuck out like this. But so what we do for those sensor pods, and we were very strategic about putting these sensor pods where they are, because if a sensor ever went down, we want to be able to put all of the hardware into one little location and make it easy to take on and swap out if something were to go wrong. So what we've got in those mirror pods is a LiDAR, radar, and then 2 cameras, one facing forward, one facing back, and then on the driver's side, and then the same thing on the passenger side. So there's technically 4 cameras going around, and then 360-degree view of radar and LiDAR. With the dusty environment out there, it's very easy for the radar to see right through that. With the LiDAR, it's giving us long-range capabilities for night driving. With the cameras, we've got high sensitivity capabilities with the cameras to do that. And then with the redundant operations, we put in a new steering wheel, we put in braking capabilities, and then new power capabilities to keep these things running all the time.
Now, Still Chill Bill has a question for you. He says, does a driver ever drive the trucks during any part of those deliveries?
What happens when they're coming to the depot is that the truck will come to a designated location, and it will actually power down. Excuse me. It'll do a fallback and basically stop itself. At which point, a driver will get in and get it loaded, and then they will put it back into autonomous operation once everything is done and checked, and then send it on to the well site. And at the well site, someone will then do it on that end as well. We're hoping that at some point we can get it to where it is running the full loop all by itself.
And now this is the basically real world application that's going on right now in the desert of West Texas. But obviously you have other applications in other areas and doing other things. Can you tell us about, some of those other operations where Kodiak is involved?
Absolutely. So the commercial operation is what I was saying was the over the road type of stuff. So we want to be able to, that's the big the question to be solved. And there's a couple of us out there. There's Kodiak Robotics, there's Aurora, there's several others. And some of them have fallen away, and so we're very proud that we've continued to lead the way in this area. So with that, we do a lot of hauling for dry van and reefer operations for the likes of like a JB Hunt, IKEA, Werner, Loadsmith and some Forward Air and some of the larger motor carriers out there. And that's going to be our target customer ultimately.
So your
target these into the motor carrier.
Yeah, your total car, and this is very technical because I'm learning, having gotten into the trucking criminal defense or trucking civil defense side. Motor carrier is a defined term within the industry, and those are the people that are actually having a direct contact with the vehicle, with the truck. So you're targeting these big motor carriers, these big trucking companies that do interstate transport, and so they've got a fleet of trucks, they got a fleet of Freightliners. You can retrofit those Freightliners, right?
Yeah. So we would love to do the biggest thing is that we want to do newer trucks due to the fact that it's easier to get drive-by-wire technology with them. But the other part is that we want to make sure that when we put in our compute stack and we put in all these sensors, that everything is ready to go, because it's really kind of calibrated to a good truck, right? And once we get it on a new truck, we can monitor the life of the truck until the regular age of fleet kind of ages the truck out as the maintenance of it kind of increases and it becomes a little too expensive to maintain that truck, and they ultimately age it out of their fleet at that point. But technically, yes, we could put it on any truck that was given to us.
Now, Vice Baby has a question for you, and of course, I got to recognize Jeff. I will never be able to. I'm so indebted to Jeff that I will never be able to fully pay him back for all the kindness and friendship that he gave me. But I'm so pleased that Vice Baby is hanging out with us. So he says, I can see how automated trucking can be beneficial when transporting dangerous and or hazardous goods. It's fun to delete my questions because they're being answered as I type them out. So let me see. So I guess the question is well, he's just making a comment. Here's another one. Trish Norman says, what about aircraft? Maybe that.
Well, our CEO Don Burnett is a pilot, but I have not. There's plenty of other players in the aircraft space that I don't think we're ready to try to compete with.
Right. So, and like you said, your customer base is motor carriers within the trucking industry, but also now let's talk about some defense applications, because in as much as you can tell me, go ahead. Nobody's listening, just you and me. Tell me about all
people here on my right.
Yeah, let's ignore them. So tell us a little bit about some of the military applications there.
So, I mean, it was a contract that was really kind of research and development, and we've been leading the way through a lot of the trials going forward. But one of the things that we were very, very impressed with is that no matter what we've been doing, what they've been throwing at us, we've been leading the charge. And so the biggest thing was putting it on an F-150 and being able to, they gave us they always change up the track basically. So they'll invite us out to a track, they'll give us an objective to go and complete. And then they'll change a few things right before we get going. And some of the things we're successful at, some of the things we're not, but we've been doing simulations and logging of all of the things, and we're learning from it, and then we'll actually tackle it the next time. So we've been very, very quick and agile in our abilities to be able to come back and complete all the objectives that they've been given to us.
And one of the things I love about being a civil defense lawyer for trucking companies is that I really do like my truckers. When we get a trucking accident, there's a driver, and I get to talk to them, and they're always like the best people. And so we've got a couple here. We've got Fundian, and he says, as a truck driver, I can say this is interesting. And he's one of my big chat supporters on Twitter. Right. I love it. Whenever I tweet, he's always retweeting my stuff. So thank you very much.
Well, I've got to say, I love truckers myself. I've been in trucking this was a big leap for me. And I will say that when I was at USA Truck as the general counsel there, I saw so many accidents. I want to keep my drivers safe. I want to get them home at night. Right. And so they're part of my world. I don't want to take things away from them. And part of what we're doing is trying to take away the hardest parts of the job. And so we try to do a hub-to-hub model, and one of my things that I think about is regionalizing the fleets. One of the biggest complaints that I got, or not, it wasn't really a complaint, but feedback from our drivers was that they didn't even get to see their family. One of the models of over-the-road trucking is that you got to be out for 2 weeks minimum, and you really hope that you're that you can get home in 2 weeks, and you might live in Florida, but you're all the way in Washington State, and it's like, well, how do I get home and not be able to get back out? So it's something that we would hope to love to be able to regionalize the model of how we have truckers being able to get home every night, be able to see their families, have a much better family life, and take away the monotony that is some of the over-the-road driving in some of the kind of the boring places to drive, right?
Right. Well, here John H has 2004 says, so as a truck driver, I see semi-automation for trucks. Why hasn't anyone done that yet? So what about that? What about complementing the drivers, and tell us about the integration with the drivers and how the technology works in that regards.
So right now we have safety drivers in all of our over-the-road applications. And so what they're doing is they're monitoring the truck. I mean, we've got 25 states out there that currently allow for autonomous operations, but we are building our safety case. We're making sure that these things can start to run autonomously over the road. And so we have drivers behind the wheel monitoring and making sure that these things are operating correctly. And we have those drivers because they are some of the best drivers that we have out there that are on the road, that have had that experience and know how to identify things that much faster. And we rely on their knowledge and expertise in order to continue making these trucks that much better. When they see something, we do a big debrief with them and we ask them, what did you see? What did the truck not see? What's going on? How do we continue to incorporate your base knowledge into these trucks? And so it's something that we continue to want to help them with it and continue to go through that. Now, ultimately, the type of truck that we're trying to do is to take the driver completely out. But we don't want to take a driver out of a job. Again, my model is to shift where they're at.
Well, here's Trish Norman has been doing, see, this is my chat. They're already doing their research. Are they hiring drivers? And then she follows up and says, their websites say they're hiring safety drivers.
We are hiring for over the road as well as out in the Permian.
Now, on that front also, I mean, this is a very cutting edge, high tech company. Do you also hire engineers, and what sort of engineers are you looking at for?
Well, I can tell you they're much smarter than me. We hire a lot of engineers that are working on everything from the hardware to the software to perception, because obviously you got to be able to identify these things, the objects as the trucks are moving and interacting with the outside environment, all the way up to, I mean, you name it. I mean, we've got engineers for engineers, and we love them. And they're so much smarter than me, and I applaud them in tackling this endeavor, because without them, I certainly couldn't be able to do this. I'm just a lowly attorney that's just trying to guide them through all of the gray in the world.
Well, and here's Fondin. He says, I'm typically out for months, but I'm single. And that's kind of addressing what you were saying. And then, but then he does have this question, which is tough thing about any kind of revolutionary technology is the losing jobs concerning part. Although generally the jobs change, but he makes the point, he says, many drivers have few skills to transfer to other positions. And this is something we find in the industry is that one thing that trucking does offer is a lot of people who've been down on their luck, maybe been in prison or something, or they're just hardworking folks who are honest and have some skills, but they know how to drive, but maybe they don't have other skills. You know, this is a tough group that's being targeted here. So what would you say to that? Absolutely.
I get it. And I don't want to take their jobs. But we have to be very honest, and I think everybody knows that there is a driver shortage out there. I mean, I'm a board member of the American Trucking Association. There's a driver shortage out there, and what we're trying to do is start to fill in that gap with putting these in there so that we don't have a shortage of our abilities to get goods to market on a regular basis. We saw through COVID that in the truckers of the world, I was at USA Truck during COVID. we were putting our drivers out there as much as possible. We were putting them in harm's way of possibly contracting COVID. And we were doing everything we could possibly to get goods where they needed to go at the time that they were needed, when people of the world needed it. And the truckers are one of our most important jobs in this nation. Farmers, truckers, educators, that's where I'm at.
Absolutely.
And so I really want to start to fill in the gap, because if we start to lose the ability of gaining more and more truck drivers in this nation, then it's going to be much, much harder to get goods to service. Now, to the point of that, I don't want to put them out of job. There's so many points of trucking where they do have a lot of skill. Driving is a huge skill. Being able to navigate traffic, especially hard traffic, and what am I thinking of here?
Miami.
Miami, thank you. Miami, Atlanta, all of the big city traffic, and remain calm through is a skill and a ability that few people have.
Well,
now,
here's
one of the other things is that we're working on basically a drop and hook model for dry van and for reefer. The truck drivers are never going to lose their abilities to go and do specialized flatbed transportation, going and doing hazardous and dangerous transportation, and especially stuff in the construction realm.
Well, the profession that I want to put out of business is the accident personal injury attorney. And
but so then you wouldn't have a job. Come on.
No, that's one I'd be happy to see put out a job. But and so it says FedEx is a model for hub to hub. Says a trucker speaking. He knows these things. So, and then and this is an interesting kind of dovetails with what you're saying. Still Chill Bill asks, what type of driver will be the hardest to replace? That's a good question.
Ooh, that is a good question. I mean, we see a lot of the amazing driver capabilities on specialized transportation. The big oversized vehicles that are coming down the road. I mean, my goodness, I drive going from Arkansas to South Carolina not too long ago. I was driving. I passed so many oversized vehicles, and they have to know exactly. They have to be able to be looking at bridges. They got to be able to see all the terrain. They got to be making sure they're navigating correctly, so that they're not getting in the wrong places. I mean, that would be a very, very hard trucker to replace.
That's good stuff. And here's an interesting question. So Anime Rumpuri says, Steve Gosney, he says they can retrofit almost any truck. Does that also include trucks with manual transmissions, or is it only automatic trucks that can be equipped?
No, it's only automatic transmissions. That's why I kept saying that we really try to go for the newer trucks, because we need to be able to have drive-by-wire capabilities so that the computer can put it into drive, reverse, all that kind of stuff.
John H. asks, I still don't see how you can get rid of the driver's intuition, and what happens when the truck breaks down or loses a tire?
So we can't get rid of driver's intuition. That's never going to be there. What we're trying to do is find a lane that requires very little intuition. We're trying to find things that there's very few variables out there. So when you think about like the robo-taxis, that's a very, very complex market out there, because there's pedestrians trying to walk out in front of you. There's traffic lights. There's obviously the ability of there might be something left in the road, like a trash can or whatnot. We're focused on highway transportation, where it is going to be quick to get onto the interstate and quick to get off. But we do have the capabilities of recognizing construction zones and being able to have the autonomy work through that by itself. But we really focus on low variable environments.
See this. I told you I got a great chat. Look at the font. It says these are truckers. They know what they're talking about.
That's right.
He says automatic transmissions in trucks are actually manual transmissions, but use an electronic shifter. I didn't know that.
That I did not know.
What do I know?
They're teaching me things here.
I know. This is the thing. Let's see. We talked about that, and then Okay, we got that one. Let me see. I'm just trying to go through, make sure I catch up because I love my chat. There's nobody else I love chat.
Yeah.
And the Vice Squad is here. What state is the automated trucking industry mainly focused in? If it's mainly used in a single state, any plans on going nationwide, or is the company plan to get the AI near perfect before doing so?
So we are focused on the great state of Texas. Texas has been a great partner for us to really work through a lot of the development, as well as getting these things on the road. And so I think I said earlier that we've got about 25 states that allow us to go autonomous, which is completely driver free. And the idea is to really focus on the environments that again have very few variables. So we want to travel through the Southeast right now. And the biggest thing is that we're trying to make sure that we're getting our customers' needs met. So the needs that they're really interested in is lanes that are basically from Houston to Dallas to Oklahoma City, and then we really like the Dallas to Atlanta route because of the fact that it would take over 2 days if you had regular hours of service operating, but with autonomy we can move through that quickly.
And then Fondian says few other driving jobs pay as much. I think he was referring to the large oversized load issue. And then we got David Nelson here. Good to see you, David. He's always there. These are my regulars. See, and my regulars are trucking. That's why I thought they'd love this. I mean, I think it's fascinating.
I didn't address his second part of that question. If a truck breaks down, so if something happens to the truck, and we actually have a really good video on our YouTube page at Kodiak Robotics on their YouTube, that if we get a flat, what happens? And so so what we did is we set up on a private track. We went at full speed at a spike strip, sorry. And we blew out the front steer tire, which can, as all of your audience knows, that can be extremely dangerous and hard to control. And so what happened is it hit the spike strip. It stayed in lane. It maintained its lane, didn't move very much. And then it came to a stop, recognized that there was a problem. And then what we do is it's called a fallback, and we actually have it pull off to the side of the road and put on its flashers at this time. And then it calls back to our operations center and says, hey, there's a problem. Come send help.
Okay, so there we got that one. And then this is a Trish Norman. I don't think she's a trucker, but she knows she's a driver, and we all know this question. The biggest problem with being a driver, as I see it, is dealing with all the stupid people on my road. So this is one of my kind of demented thought questions, is that if somebody knows it's an autonomous truck, won't they mess with you and screw with you and mess up the AI and treat you differently and bully your truck and do things that you wouldn't if it was a real driver? What is your experience and thoughts on that?
Well, we haven't had any real experiences with that yet, and hopefully no one wants to try to do that, because it's could be an 80,000-pound vehicle coming down the road. That said, the trucks have no emotions. The trucks don't have road rage. The trucks do not. They're not going to fight back. The trucks are locked, and so if someone were to try to get in front of it, it would most likely just stop in lane. But remember, I've got radar, I've got LiDAR, and I've got a lot of cameras around all of the vehicles to figure out who's trying to do it and when.
Yeah, I have one of my newest trucking clients had to have 2 cases that are accident cases, and they do not have video cam, driver cam, and they have older trucks. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, you just took a case that basically would be a harassment nuisance case, yep, and you've made it a jury trial. Because now it's the truck driver's word against the other vehicle's word, and we don't have any independent record, and there's nothing I can do except try the case. Whereas if we have some great drive cam video on some other companies that, like, it's sort of like body cam and cops and stuff. It's like, yeah, I'd rather cops say, oh, I don't want the body cam, but 98% of the time it vindicates the cop. And I think that's the same thing.
100%.
Truck drivers are professionals, and it's generally this.
Absolutely. I had a similar experience when I was at USA Truck. We had forward-facing drive cams and we had rear driver-facing drive cams, and it was hard to. We understand that the drivers don't like that. It almost seems like an invasion of privacy. But I can tell you, probably 4 or 5 times I got our driver out of a bad lawsuit and our company out of a really bad lawsuit due to the fact that we could see exactly what the driver was doing, which was everything right at every given moment. But also, just by the slim chance of hope, we were able to see in a mirror that the car came over and hit us first, or they were coming and harassing us. But just weird instances where that somehow vindicated it. And so we just kept pushing to say, I know guys, I know you don't like it. Especially our women drivers out there. It's hard for them to stay safe, and we want to keep them safe. But a lot of times those videos really do work out well.
Here's some more war stories from the road. He says, it's worse than you think. Just the other night, I had several cars cut around me in the middle of a turn by driving the shoulder. Oh, so my God. People are nuts. Here's another story. I've had a steer tire blow out. It's scary, especially when hauling an unstable load.
Absolutely.
Wow. Good. Thank you for sharing.
You're all right, because that is a very scary incident.
Now, here's another interesting observation. I can see our Louisiana potholes causing problems with these systems, making them think they've been in an accident. I-20 around Shreveport is rough. Yeah, what do you think about that question?
I am with you. I used to live in Baton Rouge, and there were some good potholes there too. We actually are doing okay with potholes. Obviously, now we're going a lot slower out in the West Permian, but the roads there are pretty rough, and like we alluded to, we are capable of off-road operations. But yes, if you were to hit a good pothole at about 65 miles an hour, that could be it could do a little bit of damage to something on the truck. Thank you very much for contributing, my Absolutely.
Trucker friends. I've had people pull in front of me so close I couldn't even see the back of their car. That's insane. I respect truckers. I love letting them in, like when they're trying to get in, they got their blinker on.
Absolutely.
And I like to back off and let the truck driver in, and then he flicks his lights or gives me a horn or something. That makes my day.
I think every single person that has a driver's license right now should have to drive 100 miles with a commercial driver's license holder and see the things that they have to deal with, especially when it's an 80,000 pound vehicle and you're trying to stop on a dime and people are acting like you're that you can stop with nothing, and then at the other side of that, thinking that they're just going to win the lottery if they hit you.
One of the big issues now is people shouldn't legally get a CDL or getting them. I don't know about that, but it's sort of like that's the way it is with a lot of things. See, people are becoming air traffic controllers that shouldn't. There's a lot of people being lawyers that shouldn't. So, and he's also recognized Chicago's the worst. And Aaron Olivia, good to see you, man. Oh my God, I just saw you're on Gosney. Good to see you. And Vice Baby again. Speaking of unstable loads, can the trucks monitor if the load gets unstable? And if so, what's the procedure then? That's a good question.
I do not think we can figure out if it was unstable. Now, if it's tracking improperly, if it starts to list or whatnot, we can figure that out, and we can say, hey, something's wrong. There's weight pushing in the wrong direction. But I can tell you that a lot of my not partners out there, but I know there's a lot of OEMs out there and trailer manufacturers that are trying to figure that problem out.
Right. Well, this is really, so let's say, now just again, to kind of revisit, we're going to be speaking out at a seminar in Scottsdale, Arizona, coming up middle of this month, actually, just a couple of weeks. And you're going to take the technology on the road part. And this has been a little practice for that. You have a big PowerPoint, and I have a super secret special presentation. And I will say one of the things is about the intersection of technology and changing technology in the courtroom. And what my presentation will be about is how the state of technology in trucking is always changing and always evolving. And no matter how good it gets, the plaintiff's attorney will always say, why didn't you have the latest technology? And that's going to occur in this scenario as it's occurred in past scenarios, that, there's older legacy trucks and there's new trucks. And obviously the newer trucks are better, but you don't just throw out the old trucks. They still have useful life in them. So what do you think is the kind of the age cutoff for trucks that you're seeing that works best with your technology?
Right now, it depends on the motor carrier. It depends on how many miles they're running. It depends on how much maintenance they're having to do to it and whatnot. Every truck is different. Every truck I've seen trucks last 1 million miles, over 1 million miles. I've seen them last basically 6 to 8 years. I've seen them last only 3 years before you kind of have to do that. And so really it's a case by case basis, but I can tell you that what we've kind of modeled our stuff over is what is kind of typical in the industry for major motor carriers, which is kind of age out your fleet after about 4 or 5 years. And so age of fleet is really important for motor carriers, because obviously, your maintenance costs can really hockey stick upward and to the right should they get too old. And so that's when I've always kind of seen them to go there. I'm not saying older trucks aren't good. Old trucks can be fantastic, but for our application, it's really the newer trucks that are working out best for us.
Now here's Fondian, and I'd be interested. Answer me this, Fondian, is what is the truck? What kind of truck do you run? What is the year and model? And he says, I haul hanging beef at times. That's interesting. These loads shift a lot in any amount of turns. Be interesting to see how automated driving can handle that. These are very interesting questions.
They are very. You're really making me dig deep here, guys, and I appreciate it. I've not done any simulations or done any testing with hanging beef, and I've not tried to at this point. But if you want to bring a load for us and we want to try it out, bring it on out to Mountain View, California, or down to Dallas, and maybe we can try that out.
Now, where are you based? That's a good question. I know where you are, but where would you say is the primary foci of the company?
So our headquarters is Mountain View, California, in the Bay Area. And that's where we get a lot of our very smart engineers, with Stanford being very, very close there, and Carnegie Mellon being out there. So that's where a lot of our research and development and it's kind of the building of the original trucks. Our operations center is just south of Dallas, strategically placed where basically all of the other motor carriers are placed, right down there in Lancaster. And so that's where all of our loads are being moved for commercial operations. And then that's also our hub to go out to West Texas for all of the Atlas Energy Solutions operations.
So Fondian replies, he's driving a 2022 Kenworth and a 2023 International before that one. So I know that Ed here has been in the trucking industry for how many years now?
Let's see, probably, I guess 6 or 7 at this point.
And so you're a lawyer, but you have a lot of insights into what truckers deal with, and
Yep.
They brought you in because that is their target market, is the motor carriers,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Vice President says, how old do trucks have to be labeled as old? Sorry if it's been no problem.
I've not made an answer as to what is old. What I can tell you is that it is easiest for us, and our model likes to get trucks off the line and then do the upfitting directly off the line. So what we aim to do is that we try to get the trucks brand new. We take out certain components so that we can put the compute stack in, and basically before it's ever been touched, we just get everything in there, get the sensors on it, get the redundant steering, redundant braking, redundant power, all retrofitted into it, and then move on and get it into their fleet.
Well, that's the next question I have for you, is that, okay, so you've done all this stuff and ripped out the guts and put your own stuff in. If I'm a driver, can I jump in the front seat and drive it manually?
Yes, you can. So everything is redundant. So if there was a problem with the say the steering column that has gears on it, it's still a connected system, and that you could still steer it and drive it manually anytime you want. So
See, I
and
love
stay
that.
with the brakes. So everything runs in
Yeah.
parallel. So if the sensors, the actuators go out, you could still hit the brakes. If there was an emergency and someone was in there, you can still hit the brakes and stop the truck.
Here's John. See, here's somebody. He might have passed one of your trucks. John H says, I hauled dirt all over to South Texas near San Antonio. I also mined frac sand near San Antonio. So he's kind of in your zone, right?
John, come on out to West Texas and start helping us drive some autonomous trucks and learn
Yes.
and learn from your experience.
So the name of the company is Kodiak AI.
No,
Right.
Kodiak Robotics.
Kodiak Robotics. Okay, the website. Maybe it's your email.
Oh, yeah, our website is Kodiak.ai.
Okay, Kodiak.ai, and so if you are somebody that maybe is interested in becoming a test driver, and I find that the CDL drivers, the commercial truck drivers, really, I mean, it's their job. It's not like it's a different level of expertise than schlubs like me who are honking my horn in Miami traffic. I mean, these guys are very professional, know what they're doing. They're at work, and they really strive to do it right.
That's right.
Here's Fondi Nagis. Says, another issue I see is backing into the docks at some of these shippers and receivers. Yeah,
Yep.
have you worked on? Can you get truck backing into docking bays yet?
No, we're not doing that. There's again a lot of variables that have to deal with that, with the possibility of people walking behind you and whatnot. Our main model is to do drop and hook at basically hubs, distribution centers, whatnot, with a special area where it comes in. We get someone stays there, they unhook the trailer, they get it ready, they hook on a new trailer, and they get it. They prep the truck, do an enhanced inspection, and they prep the truck to go back the other way. And so it just continues running back and forth from hub to hub. It could be a triangular hub region. It could be back and forth in a straight parallel direction. But basically just have people on either side being able to accept the truck and prep the truck and send it back. And it just keeps running back and forth.
And this is kind of a little bit of a softball question, or maybe I give it. But my understanding is that your company, this is really the cutting edge of autonomous driving technology right now. And could you toot your horn about that a little bit?
Certainly, I'd love to. Thank you for the opportunity. So we're the first ones to get the truck into a customer's hands. So we're very, very proud of that fact. And we've actually got a continuous revenue stream coming from working with Atlas Energy Solutions. And we're going to continue trying to put additional trucks into their fleet. As we continue to run the industrial operation, we're also working on the over-the-road commercial operation, trying to run freight over the road for our partners, and ultimately try to work and get these trucks in a fully autonomous mode for our motor carrier partners for that.
Here's another one.
It is also, I got to also toot my own horn for just my own selfish reasons. I was the first one to draft a commercial agreement, which was no easy feat. And it was probably 75 to 80 pages long to draft that first commercial agreement in the autonomous space.
See, we lawyers have our pride too, right? That's like, I drafted it, like, and John says he drove to test his test fleet, and Alaska now. See, Alaska, I think, would be another good avenue for autonomous trucking.
Yes.
Have you looked at Alaska?
We are looking at any opportunity we can. We looked at timber operations up in Alaska, timber operations in Canada, mining operations. We're trying to basically put our technology where it's going to do the best opportunity it can. And when I say the mining operations, I don't mean the giant construction equipment that are actually down in the pit and whatnot. It really would be more at a higher level, basically taking the ground up material, putting it in a truck, and then taking it to market, basically.
And see, this is the neat thing that is really cool, I think, about your technology is you retrofit existing vehicles, which, I mean, your technology adds. It also put like putting a robot in the driver's seat, right? Mm-hmm. Which is so cool because, it's like, well, that means we have to buy all new trucks or we'd have to do this. But no, you can take existing fleets and retrofit them, which that is really neat.
Yes. Yes.
So let's see. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions, but let's see. We're going to be out in Scottsdale.
That's right.
In mid-February here. Try to think if I have any other good zinger questions. What have I missed? What have I not asked you that's like really cool that you could tell us?
Let me see some of my notes here. I think you basically touched all of it. One thing that I mean, it really is a game changer. We're really excited about it, and it really will be a safe technology to put out there. And reason I say that, a lot of people might question, well, how can you say it's safe? It kind of goes back to the idea that the trucks don't have any emotion. The trucks don't get tired. The trucks don't get upset when someone cuts them off. It's going to go slow. It's going to slow down. It's going to see things. It's going to continue to try to work itself into the right direction and ultimately try to get its payload to the delivery location safely and on time. And right. that is something that is going to be helpful for the transportation industry as a whole, and hopefully can help get a lot of the drivers that are having to be over the road for long periods of time and do a more of a regionalized fleet, or maybe even a dedicated fleet. But I'm not going to I do not want to take away from their capabilities and their skills. There's a lot of opportunities for drivers that with great skills and abilities to do some of these long haul operations and different operations, especially hazardous materials, especially large oversized loads and whatnot. Still need those guys, still need their intuition, still needs their expertise. But we want to take away the dirty jobs and the just the boring ones, the boring lanes that no one wants to do.
And then, well, what is it, Funny? We gotta cut to the chase, man. Ask your question. Some of these guys, I actually have a lot of my trucker fans, and T-Rex. Here he runs a dedicated regional. So I have T-Rex Trucking is, and I haven't seen him, but he's another one of my trucker fans. But you know, it's interesting because I actually interviewed a trucker a while back who was on the road, you know, in his truck, and we got to interview him on the truck about being a trucker. This was before I ever got into the trucking industry. So okay. I'm a fan. If you look back a ways, you can see that interview. But I found that a lot of my fans who are truckers actually listen in their trucks. So they like live streams like what we do here. And so I hope that you guys, if you do, put the thumbs up. And let's see. Here's one more. I got it. You're hitting it out of the park here. You're earning your keep here today, Funny. I'm paying you back for all those retweets. What all is involved in training these safety drivers? That's an interesting question.
We have a very robust training regimen to help them understand how the truck acts, how it operates, how it's going to do certain things, because there's sounds, there's audible and visual cues that are going on at any given time. There's things that they need to hit. There's things that they have to be trained on in order to disengage autonomy if a dangerous situation comes around. And so one of the biggest things is training them to make sure that they're not holding the wheel at all times. So basically what our safety drivers, when they're going down the road, they are hovering their hands over the steering wheel all times, even though the steering wheel is turning like this the whole time. So it's really using their expertise from all of the hours and miles that they've been on the road, but also incorporating the technology and helping them understand how this is going to help audible and visually help them in recognizing issues. And then also continuing to help develop the trucks even further by using their expertise, debriefing them, showing them the logs and the models and the simulations, and saying, what would have happened had you not taken control of the truck right then and there? What would have happened if you did take care of the control of the truck? What would have happened if you didn't? And so we're really trying to always work through that, but we have a very, very robust training system for all of our safety drivers.
This is so cool. we're going to have fun. I'm looking forward to sitting down and see. And I told you he's on his truck right now listening. Isn't that cool?
That's right.
That's pretty neat.
On his 34 reset, he's got to deal with these hours of service, and he's got to sit waiting for it. So I'm happy that you're sitting listening to us, but I want you to be able to get back on the road and continue generating some revenue.
That's it. See there, he knows the business. All right, so we're near in the end here, and what I usually do is we redirect to somebody else who's broadcasting, who's doing live streaming. We're coming on an hour and about 5 minutes. So let's take a look and see who else is streaming. And then the game is what you have to do is you have to go, Gosney Raid. You got to yell on Gosney Raid in the chat, right? You guys know the drill, right? That's one of my favorite things to do raids. So who all is streaming that we know that we can redirect to? Let's see who's live streaming. We've got Winning Reality. Danny on a direct is here. Let's see, that Umbrella Guy, Potentially Criminal, Talk with Sally. Oh, that's upcoming. So we got Potentially Criminal, Danny on direct. What do you guys think? Danny on direct or Potentially Criminal? Danny is prettier, but Potentially Criminal, man. I don't know. Nick Staro's on. Let's see. Might have to apply. See, look, you're getting a. Thank you. Very interesting stream. Thank you very much. I think it was cool. I brought this to you guys because I thought it was really cool. Let's see. I don't see. Okay, you want me to do a Potentially Criminal raid? Well, Trish. Okay, we'll do Sean. Let's see here. Save that. All right. So what's the deal? Although, see, I'm getting out of criminal law to dump you into a criminal thing. Tug or Danny? Well, see, Trish wins the bid. Trish wins the bid. It's going to be Sean, Potentially Criminal. So what's the deal when we end? You go Gosney Raid. All right. So Ed, thank you very much.
It's the chat that does this.
Yeah, isn't this fun? It's fun. Did you have fun tonight?
I did. This is great. Thank you again.
And we got 100 people watching, so that's pretty good. And then there'll be rewatchers. And then thank you all to the members who support me. And I'm going to have some really cool stuff coming up with my next children's book coming out. And you guys are going to be intimately involved. And so keep channel and keep tuned in for the streams on that. I've got some big news coming up on Jackson, My Difficult Dog. And Ed, any final comments?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity. Really appreciate you giving me a chance to talk to all your fans. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you here in Scottsdale. And I hope everyone gives autonomous trucks a fair shot at what is out there. We really are working hard to make these things work well.
And where do people go to apply if they want to look at this hiring thing? Trish, you found it. It's on the hiring drivers part of your site.
Yeah, so I think it's Kodiak.ai is our website. Now you should I haven't looked at it, but there really should be a careers link that should take you right to the location to apply.
And I will say to everybody, thank you for treating my guest well. This is his first live stream. And so you did a good job in asking great questions. And so here's the thing. You just hang out for a little bit. I'm going to drop you into the thing, and I'm going to sign off, and then I'll talk to you a little bit afterwards. All right?
Fantastic.
So hold on.
Thanks, everyone.
Wasn't that cool? All right. So what's the scam? Well, you got to go Sean Gosney Raid. All right. So I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you all for coming. I got big news coming up on the children's book. I'm putting it back on the front burner, and we got a lot of. I need your help in a number of ways, and you just keep an eye on this. All right. So I'll see you guys later. God bless.